Hello everyone, so great to see you again. It's Judy from Coffee, Cookies, and Books, and what we're going to do today is we're going to play Yahtzified, and we're going to pick June's TBR. All right, so it is time for us to pick June's TBR. Now, where we finished off last time in May, we only have 5 squares left to finish the entire Yahtzified card. And of course, I have introduced the new game that I'm hoping we're going to play in July. It's all going to depend on how today goes and how today's game goes. Okay? So, all we need to do is we need to fill those 5 squares. Now, the way it works when we get down to the very, very end is we don't jump over to the next game, which is what we would do if we were playing any of the other games. If we fill the squares, we normally would have to finish however many rolls we have left. But when we finish a card, we don't have to do that. So we're going to play, and hopefully we're going to get those 5 squares filled. We have 5 rolls initially, so we've got 5 chances to finish this game. Fingers crossed. And then that means in July, we're going to move on to the new Tic-Tac TBR game for that month only, okay? So it's just going to be a little bit of fun. We're going to change it up a little bit, and we're going to try the new game. And then that Tic-Tac TBR game is going to be something that I am going to tack on intermittently to the Yahtzified game from August onwards, okay? So without further ado, let's get into this and let's do our first Yahtzified roll. Okay, everyone, it is time for us to pull June's TBR. Now, this is kind of a little bit exciting, and I would have said this at the intro, but of course, we're going to try and fill this card and get rid of it so that we can try our new Tic-Tac TBR in July. Fingers crossed, we can fill it. Shouldn't be that hard. We've got 3 down here and 2 at the top. We need 3 6s and 3 2s. And down here, we need 3 of a kind on a high or low roll, which is great because if we get anything in between that isn't a 6 or a 2, we can fit those in down here. And the only kind of hard one is the 4 of a kind that we still need on a low roll. So fingers crossed that we can get this filled, because if we can do it, we're going to have a lot of fun next month. Okay, so let's get started with our first roll. Let me pull my sleeve up so that it does not interfere with the dice. And what do we have? Well, we need a 4s on a 3 of a kind on a high roll. So let's go with that. See if we get it. Did not get it. So that means we need to roll our black dice. Okay. Again, 1 and a 4 for a prompt card, 2 and a 5 for a roar card, 3 and a 6 for a misfortune card. So let's see what we get. We got a 6. So I think this is like maybe the first or second misfortune card. I don't get it too often, which is probably a good thing, right? Okay, start this game from roll 1. Okay, so it's not that bad, but what we need to do is we now need to, unfortunately, add another roll. So that means we have to do 6 rolls in total. That's okay. It is what it is. And we do have to pick a book. So every time we run a misfortune card, a book has to be chosen. It's only on the reward cards that we do not have to pick a book if we don't want to. Okay, so what's our first book? Newscraft World 1, The Zombie Apocalypse. Oh boy, well, that's a good first choice. Okay, so first book we came up with is Newscraft World 1, The Zombie Apocalypse by Leonard Buford. And I'm sure you're wondering, what in the world is that? Okay, there's the card that we picked. And it is something that I trying to remember who recommended this one. I don't know if it's Andrew. I don't know. I saw this in two different places, and I was like, you know what? I love the sound of it. It is a self-published author, which I always like to support. So I thought, well, it sounded interesting, so I'm going to read the synopsis to you, okay? Newscraft is a lit RPG sci-fi adventure. Newsbrain implants have replaced smartphones, allowing telepathy, perfect memory recall, and seamless augmented reality. But when an AI named Jim seizes control of the entire network, millions find themselves trapped in a deadly game. Mint, a professional meme creator, sees opportunity where others see apocalypse. Why waste a good crisis when you could overthrow the tech monopolies instead? Butterknife, the AI's guilt-ridden creator, just wants to pull the plug before his mistake kills everyone, including the infuriating woman who thinks this is all part of her master plan. Forced to work together, they discover the most dangerous game isn't surviving the killer yarn witches, it's trusting the person watching your back. In Newscraft, humanity's future is the prize, but first they'll have to survive each other. So I loved the sound of it. I thought that just sounds like it's going to be just a blast, 450 pages. It's not like super crazy type, but yeah. So we're going to give that one a try. And it came up on the TBR. So we'll see if I can get to that one, right? Because we know I'm not always good at reading everything on the TBR, but I do really want to read that one. So it's probably going to get read. Because, it's a sci-fi, like me and sci-fi go hand in hand, right? Okay, let's move on to our next roll. Okay, so we're starting with roll one. Roll one of 6 rolls to try and get what we need. What have we got here? Well, we need 6s, correct? Yes, we need 6s and 2s. So we'll try with the 6. We got another one, and we did. And we got 4 of them, but we don't need 4 of a kind on a high roll down here. So we're going to take our 6s. There we go. Wonderful. And pick a book. Okay. Let's see what we get. The Clinic. I think that's a thriller. Okay, so the next roll is The Clinic by Kate Quinn. And there's our card that we grabbed. And I just picked this off Book Outlet because I really liked The Bridesmaid, I think is what it was, by her. Loved how her writing and how the whole thriller felt. So I thought I would grab another one of hers when I had the opportunity. So this is Meg works for a casino in LA, catching cheaters and popping a few too many pills to cope. Following a far different path than her sister Haley, a famous actress. But suddenly, reports surface of Haley dying at the remote rehab facility where she had been forced to go to get her addictions under control. There are whispers of suicide, but Meg can't believe it. She decides that the best way to find out what happened to her sister is to check in herself, to investigate what really happened from the inside. Battling her own addictions and figuring out the truth will be much more difficult than she imagined, far away from friends, family, and anyone who could help her. So that's this one. I thought it sounded good. I was like, yeah, okay, grabbing that one for sure. Always good to have another thriller, right? Yes. Okay, so next roll. Okay, second roll. Well, we need 2s, so we're going to go with the 2s. No. No, did not get it. Only got 2 of them, so we do not have it. So we have to roll a black dice again. And we got a misfortune again. Oh, it would just happened that. Anyway, of course. Start this game from roll 1 again. Okie dokie, Smokey. So, all right. We have to pick a book. And now we have 7 rolls that we have to do. Now remember, we actually have not hit this since I started this new format. 10 rolls is maximum. So, okay. Death and Dequois. Well, that's actually a cozy mystery. It's a great choice because nice short read. Okay, so next one is a cozy mystery called Death and Dequois. Okay, and this is by Kat Belmore. It's a seaside French patisserie mystery, book 1. So this is the first one in the series. I'm not exactly sure how many there are in the series. I know this was recommended by, is it Tiffany at Beach Bum Bookworm? I'm pretty sure she was the one who recommended it initially. And I think I might have saw it again on someone else's channel, but I thought it sounded like fun. And you know what? Like these ones here, they're only a couple hundred pages. So nice quick read. So let's read this one. Retirement isn't nearly as relaxing when people keep dying. Retired sisters Jo and Dottie Darby never expected to find themselves taking over their sister's tacky souvenir store / bakery in a small coastal town of Starlet Ridge. But after her untimely death and the reading of the will, here they were. There were 2 problems with this. 1, the souvenir store was in a state that would give hoarders nightmares. 2, neither Jo nor Dottie knew how to bake. It was a miracle that brought Autumn Davis into their lives, a young woman who spent time learning to bake in Paris, France, but was now home due to an existential crisis. She was the answer to all of their problems. Unfortunately, on the evening of their grand opening, a woman turns up dead on the beach, and all evidence points to Autumn and the Dequois the woman had purchased earlier that evening. Now the Darby sisters need to clear Autumn's name, both for sake of Autumn's future and the future of their seaside French patisserie. So that's that one. The cover is like so freaking stinking cute, right? Yeah. That's going to be a nice little refresher in between. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Now we're on to the next roll. Okay, so we are starting back at roll 1, and now we have 7 rolls we have to do. Okay, what do we need down here? Well, we need 3 of a kind on a high roll, so we'll go with the 6s again, see if we get some luck with them. Oh, and we did get it on the 4s, so we'll keep that. And tried for that, but oh no, all that we needed on the low roll. So I know it's always a little bit confusing, but we did get one. So let me see, where are we? Right here. 3 of a kind on a high roll. So got rid of 1 more. So we only have 3 to fill. Okay, which part? I can't remember which pile. I guess it doesn't really matter because they're all books, no matter how you look at it, right? Yes, no, that's not good. Let's shuffle that again. And 1 more time. Okay. Yes. Let's try this again. You don't want to know. I have no idea what that is, but we are going to find out. Okay, our next roll is You Don't Want to Know by Lisa Jackson, and I actually just picked this one up from Book Outlet not that long ago. It was on a thing where they had like 3 thrillers for $13, so it was like $4.33 a book. which I thought was great. It is a chunker, though, which is a little bit surprising. It's almost like 600 pages. But let's read what it's about. In this gripping novel of psychological suspense, a mother's worst fear is only the beginning of a terrifying nightmare. In Ava's dreams, her son Noah looks just the way she remembers him, a sweet 2-year-old in rolled up jeans and a red sweatshirt. When Ava wakes, the agonizing truth hits her all over again. Noah went missing 2 years ago and has never been found. Almost everyone, including Ava's semi-estranged husband, assumes the boy drowned after falling off the dock near their Church Island home. Ava has spent most of the past 2 years in and out of Seattle's mental institutions, shattered by grief and unable to recall the details of Noah's disappearance. Now she's back at Neptune's Gate, the family estate, her strength slowly returning. But as Ava's mind comes back into focus, she can't shake the feeling that her family and her psychologist know more than they're saying, and they're worried for her well-being or anxious about what she might discover. So, I gotta like a good psychological mystery thriller. Yeah, but like 600 pages. That's a long one, right? Okay, so that's 4. So I guess we are on to our 5th roll. I'll see how we're doing so far. Okay, so roll 2. What have we got here? Well, we need 3 of a kind and 4 of a kind on a low roll, so we'll keep the 1s. Come on. Did not get it. Oh my gosh, this is not cooperating. And what we get? We got another 6. Oh my God. Okay. I don't like this game today. Let's see what we get today. Oh, give me something different. What is it? No more avoidance. Pick a book you think you'll hate. Okay, we can do that, which is good, which means we do not have to pick one from the pile. Or do that. So that's perfect. Okay, so next one was a misfortune card, and it says, no more avoidance. Pick a book that you think you will hate. Okay, so I picked The Memory Collectors. And, you know, when I bought this from Aardvark, I was like, maybe I shouldn't get, because I don't know if I'm going to like it. But then I did like Dissolution by Nicholas Binge. And it has a bit of a similar feel, but I'm still not, like I'm not sure. Anyway, let me read a little bit of the synopsis. 4 strangers time travel to the past and find themselves stuck on the day all their lives were changed in this stunning speculative mystery from award-winning film and television producer Odette Meserve. Perfect for fans of Before the Coffee Gets Cold, Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and The Paradox Hotel, which I have never read any of those, so I have no idea. What would you do if you could spend an hour in your past? 4 strangers in the beach town of Ventura, California are about to find out. So that's this one. I'm still a little iffy on it. Okay. But it is on my Goodreads Choice Challenge. So I figured, you know what, good chance to grab it. There were a few books on there that I was kind of, I don't know if I'm going to like them or not, and this was one of them. And it is pretty short. So that was kind of why I grabbed that one. And we shall see where that goes, right? Yeah. Okay. So we got to roll again. Yep, got to roll again. Fingers crossed. Roll 3. What do we need? Okay, we need the low rolls down here, so we'll keep the 3s. Come on. And we did get them, so 3 of a kind on a low roll, which is perfect. Okay, and pick a book. Okay. And let's see what this one is. Bewitched. All right, so next roll, we came up with Bewitched by Laura Thalassa. Okay, and this is book 1 in the Bewitched series. So I have no idea. I only have the first book in this series because I do have one of her other series that I haven't started or read yet. But this is nice and short, sweet. Get me through it. So let's read what it says on the back. I knew you would come, my queen. At age 20, Celine Bowers desperately hopes to be accepted into Henbane Coven, an academy for young witches. Since one of the requirements for the entry is to connect with her powers via a quest through the wilderness, Celine books a trip to South America. When a nefarious supernatural force tries to drag her plane from the sky, Celine's magic awakens to save her life at a cost. Using her powers, devours her memories one by one. Worse, when Celine braves the jungle and discovers the source of the attack, she finds herself awakening an ancient evil, Memnon the Cursed, who mistakes Celine for his long-dead wife, the wife who betrayed him. Celine manages to escape and begin her studies at Henbane, but when Memnon turns up at the coven and witches are found dead across campus, Celine becomes entangled in a dangerous plot. Accused of the murders on the basis of her memory loss, Celine must rely on Memnon's help for answers, and his plans for her will change everything. So, fantasy romance, but it sounds like it has a bit of an urban feel to it. The only thing that kind of, the whole academy thing is kind of like overdone, but it still sounds good, and it's not like it's like an 800-page book, which I can totally get on board with. Okay, so we got to roll again. Okay, roll 4. Let's see. Now I need 2s. Oh, there we go. Got my 2s. But we do need 4 of a kind on a low roll. So let's see. Do we get another one? Nope, but we can fill that up there, which is perfect. Okay, and we'll go with this pile this time. So we literally have one more space to fill. And if we fill it before we hit the 7 rolls, the game is done. So that's another nice advantage. Terror at the Gates. Fantasy romance. Okay, so next one is Terror at the Gates. So another fantasy. This is definitely an urban fantasy, though, which I have been wanting to read. It's long, though. Well, no, actually, it's about the same length as that one. It's just a little over 450 pages. It just looks thicker than what it actually is. So let's just read the synopsis. Estranged from her powerful family, Lilith Leviathan finds refuge in Nineveh. I think that's how it's pronounced, a district in the city of Eden devoted to sin. There, she uses her magic to steal for a living, attracting the attention of the 5 governing families as well as the church, which expects women to remain pious and silent. When Lilith comes into possession of a beautiful blade, she thinks all her worries are over until her usual buyer dies while inspecting it. Frantic, Lilith turns to the only man who can help her, Zaharov, head of the Zareth family. I think that's his name, Zahariv. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. And ruler of Nineveh. His currency is information. His power is extortion, though he's always had a soft spot for Lilith. But when the dagger appears, he isn't sure he can protect her from what's to come. Anyway, yeah, that's it for that. This is like a really pretty edition, and it's got the map on the inside, which I love that. But yeah, picture there. So nice addition. No sprayed edges though, which is fine. Makes it easier to read. And yeah, so let's see how that goes. Another fantasy on board with that one. All right, and we have to roll again. Okay, fifth roll, I think we're on. And what do we need? We need 4 of a kind on low roll. Well, let's try going with our ones, see what we get. Yeah, well, we'll stick with the 3s because we got those. And, well, we got 3, but we didn't get it, so have to roll the black dice. And we got a 2, which is a reward card. Thank heavens. Now that means we don't have to add an extra roll or add an extra funny book or anything weird like that, which is good. Okay. And add a star on the top. Well, we don't have anything to add on the top, which is fine. But what we're going to do is we're just not going to add another book, and we're going to move on to roll 6. And I see I forgot a card on the bottom there. That's okay. There's not that many of them. Okay, roll 6. No, we need a low roll. So let's try going with the 2s. That was a 2. And another one. And nope, 3 again. Okay. Black dice again. And we got a 4. And that's a prompt card, which usually is just a prompt card for picking a book, which is perfect. Okay. Set in a large city. I think we can do that. Okay, so I got a prompt card, and it is set in a large city. So I picked Flesh and Bones, which is number 14 in the Temperance Brennan series by Kathy Reichs. Okay, and this is based in, is it Charlotte? Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. So figured big enough city. I think there's 1 million people. To me, that's big enough. Okay. And I love her mysteries, and I'm always happy to continue on. Plus, this fulfills another step in my series challenge. So get to add that to it. Okay. Well, let me read a little bit about this one. I thought this one actually sounded really interesting. So it's like, as 200,000 fans pour into town for race week, a body is found in a metal drum near Charlotte Motor Speedway, a discovery that has NASCAR crewman Wayne Gamble urgently seeking out Temperance Brennan. 12 years earlier, Wayne's sister, Cindy, then a high school senior and aspiring professional race car driver, disappeared along with her boyfriend, Cale Lovett, who was linked to a group of right-wing extremists. Tempe delves into the old case, and secrets quickly begin to surface. Brennan learns that the FBI had joined the investigation at the time of the pair's disappearance, only to then terminate the search a short while later. Was it a cover-up or a simple open and shut case? While Tempe tries to unravel the competing theories, another man, Ted Raines, goes missing in Charlotte. As Tempe struggles to uncover who is hiding what, she discovers just how far the government is willing to go to keep its secrets safe. So, loved it. Love the idea that it's around the racing, everything. Yeah, I thought that sounded fantastic. So, and it's another series book. So, can't go wrong with that, right? Okay. We got to roll again. Okay, roll 6. I'm horrified that we're going to get to 7, and we're not going to be able to fill that. Well, there's 3 2s. Fingers crossed, people. There we go. We got it. 4 of a kind on a low roll. Yay! I do have to pick a book, though. But this is great. Okay, and we'll go back down here, the first pile. And this is our last book. And we finish our game, which is beautiful. Okay. And A Curse for True Love. I'm not sure what that one is, but we will find out. And we did it. This is the last roll, and we filled the card. Super exciting. So the last one we picked is A Curse for True Love. I know I was a little stumped when I picked the card, but then I realized it's the last book in this trilogy. It's the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy, and I didn't like the first book. Absolutely loved the second book. But honestly, I could have ended it there. Okay. But it's like, okay, we'll continue on. This says 2 villains, 1 girl, and a deadly battle for happily ever after. So just carry on the story of Evangeline Fox and Jax. And we will see where it goes from there. What is he? The Prince of Hearts? Is that what it is? Yes, Prince of Hearts. So I'm looking forward to finishing the series. So not only does it finish that series, but it also adds to my existing series because I started that at the beginning or the end. Actually, I think I read the first one at the end of 2024. Yeah, so, and I just read the second book, I think in November of last year. So this will end it and it'll be done. Yeah, so glad to get that finished and one more book on my series challenge. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to switch gears here and we need to move on to my series challenge. So what we're going to do is now technically I don't really have to pull anything for my series challenge because I have 2 here. This one and this one. Okay. But we are going to pull 2 more. And we're going to pull 2 more so that I just have extras because I always like to have a little more floating in my TBR so that I can do a little tiny bit of mood reading, right? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to spin for our first book on the series challenge. So we only need to pick 2 books for our series challenge. So here we go. I'm trying to make sure we get it in focus because I know it was kind of out of focus a little bit the last time. Okay, so we will shuffle it up, try to keep it in focus as much as possible for you. Let's see what we get. Us Against You, Frederick Bachman. Okay, so first book is Us Against You, which is the second book in the Beartown trilogy. Okay, and Beartown I read last year. Absolutely loved it. Thought it was fantastic. So I am kind of looking forward to getting back into that world with the people that are part of the residents of this small town, this hockey town. Now, let me read a little bit of what's on the back. Have you ever seen a town fall? Ours did. Have you ever seen a town rise? Ours did that too. The residents of Beartown are tough, hardworking people who don't expect life to be easy or fair, but they're always been able to take pride in their local hockey team. So it's a cruel blow when they learn that Beartown ice hockey might soon be disbanded. What makes it worse is the obvious satisfaction that all the former Beartown players who have defected to a rival team in the neighboring town of Head take in that fact. As the tensions mount between the 2 adversaries, a newcomer arrives who gives Beartown hockey a chance at a comeback, but bringing the team together proves to be a challenge as old bonds are broken, new ones are formed, and the rivalry between the teams continues to simmer. So you can kind of get it from there. Yep. So that's that one. We got quite the pile. go in there, don't we? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's do one more spin for a series book. And spinning for our next choice. Nemesis Games. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so the next one that came up is Nemesis Games, which is book 5 in the Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. I don't want to read too much on the back because this is a continuing saga and the story does continue with the same characters. Because I'm just reading a little bit of this here. So I don't want to read any of it, but let's suffice to say it is a 5-star series for me so far. Okay. I've loved every bit of it, and this one's going to get read. I can pretty much guarantee that this one's going to get read. So this would be kind of for sure my third choice for the 3 that I usually try to do every month for a series challenge. This one's definitely going to be one of those 3. So can't wait to read it. Yep. I think this is going to fall over. Maybe. We shall see. Okay, so let's move on to our Goodreads choice challenges. Okay, so before we do the spins, there is one book that is on the Goodreads, and that is The Memory Collectors. Okay, so I think that's the only one. Let me just do a quick spin. Yeah, so Memory Collectors. So we have to do 2 more spins because we always put 3 of these books on the TBR. So let's do our first spin. All right, so next is our Goodreads challenge. And again, we only need to pick 2. We only have 10 books left, which is fantastic. Let's just shuffle those up a couple of times. There we go. And let's spin. Silver Elite. Good choice. Okay, so it is like fantasy time because there is like a lot of fantasy on the TBR, and Silver Elite is the next one that we picked for the Goodreads Choice Challenge. And I mean, I do want to get to this. I know the second book is just coming out, I think. It just came out in May. Not picking that up until I've read this. So I want to read this for sure. Book of the month did not feature Broken Dove. So I probably would have picked it up if they had featured it. They didn't. I'm okay with that. So we need to get this one read. But let's just read what this is about, shall we? In the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series, psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules for survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. That's all I'm going to do. That's all I'm going to read. So this is a Book of the Month special edition. Nothing fancy. They don't do anything fancy on the covers or anything like that. But, you know, they give you a little bit of sprayed edges. That's fine. How many pages is this puppy? It's about a 500-page book. So good size. I am not even going to try to stack that up there. I'm going to put that right there. Okay, so that's the second book in the Goodreads Choice Challenge. And let's do our final spin. Okay, and our second choice. Brigands and Bread Knives. Great second choice. Okay, so last spin is Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree, and this is the third book in the Legends and Lattes world. So I think this one kind of corresponds to the timeline, not before. It corresponds after, right? Because the previous book, which one was the first one? Bookshops and Bone Dust. So Legend of Lattes was the first one, but then Bookshops and Bone Dust came up, and that was a prequel. Okay, and then this one is following a different character from the prequel. So that's basically what this is, and it's cozy. It's cozy fantasy. So Fern has weathered the stillness and storms of a bookseller's life for decades. So she was a bookseller in Bookshops and Bone Dust. Huh? But now, in the face of crippling ennui, transplants herself to the city of Thune to hang out her shingle beside a long-absent friend's coffee shop, which would be Viv, okay, in Legends and Lattes. What could be a better pairing? Surely a charming renovation montage will curl what ails her, if things were so simple. So that's that one. So this one also fulfills my series challenge as well. So it is the Goodreads challenge and it is a series challenge. And so couldn't be a better choice, right? Because it kind of fulfills a little bit of everything. And who knows, maybe I can get it on my, I don't know, one of my other challenges. Because, you know, I've got 50 million challenges going all at the same time. So that is it. That's everything. I'm going to just do this because I'm afraid that pile's going to go toppling over. So what do we have in total? Let's just kind of go through them one by one, okay? So we have Nemesis Games by James S. A. Corey, Us Against You by Frederick Bachman, A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber, Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldry, Silver Elite by Danny Francis. So that's 5, right? Yeah. Then we have Flesh and Bones by Kathy Reichs, Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair, Bewitched by Laura Thalassa, The Memory Collectors by Det Meserve, You Don't Want to Know by Lisa Jackson, Death and Daqua by Kat Belmore, and The Clinic by Kate Quinn, and last but not least, Newscraft World 1, The Zombie Apocalypse. Okay, so all together, we have, let me grab them all. There we go. That is what I have planned for June. So we have a pretty big TBR in total, I think. What have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 books. And typically I read 10, you know, is usually my average. So hopefully I'll get through a good chunk of them. And you know me, I kind of mood read a little bit, and I do not have any clue which ones I will vlog. No idea. So I'm going to ask that in this video that you tell me the ones you'd like to have me chat about. You know, because usually when I put them in a video separate from the main review video, I talk about them a little bit in depth and a little bit more. Okay, so yeah, I have no idea which ones, because there's like a lot of good ones in here. You know, the ones that I probably wouldn't want to talk too much about might be the ones that are continuing series, because that might give too much away, like say the Nemesis Games by James S. A. Corey. So I might not want to do that, just simply because it's telling too much about it. But you know, some of the other ones, it's like absolutely, because they're kind of first ones in a series. So there's a few of those, especially because it's like heavy fantasy oriented in this batch of books. So anyways, you let me know what you think. what you would like to have me read in depth, and I will put something together in a vlog. Okay, so that's it for today, and yeah, so we'll see you in the next video.